chairs. So it's about arranging things, and all of these words are about arranging things in some way, arranging objects in a room. Now, if you round up a number or round down a number, this is in mathematics when you have 9.75 and you round it up to 10, or you have 8.13 and you round it down to 8. But what you're doing here is rounding off the numbers. You're either rounding it up or down, and you can just say in a general way, I had to round off the number. It just means make it a whole number, basically make it a reasonable number or an easy to count number. Okay, if things add up, it could mean that things are building up. It could be similar to build up, which is down here. Don't need to write it again. You could say that all of that junk food that he's been eating, it means that all the calories have been adding up, meaning all the calories have been building up. They've been increasing in number. But it also means make sense. If you say, I'm sorry, but things don't add up. It means, I'm sorry, but things don't make sense. There's something illogical here. Something doesn't add up. Something doesn't make sense. Add up to, it could be used in a money way, where you say the beers and the sweets and the wine add up to £15. Or it could be used to mean or signify. So you might say, what with his behaviour at school and his low marks, we can see that all of these things add up to problems at home. All of these things signify that he has problems at home. All of these things mean or indicate. So add up to, it could mean indicate or signify. It's the second way that it's used, and it's quite common. So you might come to a crime scene and see lots of different clues. You see footprint on the window sill and you notice that the door is closed but it's not locked. And you say, all of these facts add up to the killer coming through the window and leaving through the door. Something like that. Okay, if you say that the quality of some items has been falling off, it means it's been getting worse. The quality has been getting lower and lower. So we can use fall off, meaning to get worse. When we're talking about the quality of something getting worse, we say that perhaps the food in that pub has been falling off recently, and it means the quality of the food has been falling off. Now, if the pub bumps up prices, it means they make the cost of the drinks more expensive. Most of the pubs around here, unfortunately, have bumped up their prices. But if you knock down prices, then you reduce the prices. And if you're a customer, you can knock someone down on the price. So that would be a little bit more. That would be knock someone down on. And that means that you manage to haggle. You manage to negotiate a better price, a cheaper price. Maybe you manage to negotiate a 20% discount. You knock them down on the price by £5. You knock them down on the price by £10. So the seller can knock down the price, or you can knock them down on the price. Put on means put on clothes. It also means put on weight, which in my opinion is similar to put on clothes, but it has a third meaning. And it means that you pretend to do something. If you put on an accent, you mimic that accent. Maybe pretend isn't the right word, but if you put on a German accent when you go on holiday, you are pretending to be German. You're putting on that accent. You're mimicking it in order to sound German. So it's another way we use put on. If something starts to tail off, it starts to decrease. So maybe you could say something like this. This is from the Advanced Phrasal Verbs book. Ice cream sales tend to tail off in winter. Obviously, there's no sun, and so sales of ice cream tend to tail off in winter. They decrease. You could also say that the number of customers starts to thin out, because this one's always used with numbers of people, it seems to me, thin out. Although it might be used with liquids when they become more dilute, when they become more watered down. You might say that the soup is thinning out if it's becoming more watery, although that's rare. But numbers of people or crowds tend to thin out. So after a football match, when the football match is finished, the crowds immediately start thinning out, meaning they get less and less. There are less and less people there. Okay, if you slim down the business, this is always used with business, it seems to me. You can slim when you're losing weight, but you can also slim down the business, and it means make the business smaller. It means that you're perhaps laying people off, or you're cutting back staff, you're downsizing, you're cutting back staff, maybe because you don't have enough money to pay everybody. But slimming down the business, it means making it smaller, laying people off, making people redundant. Okay, if a graph starts to level off or flatten out, it literally means that what was like this starts to level off. It starts to level off, yeah? It starts to get flat. It starts to flatten out. I mean, both of those are the same, and it means it becomes stable, neither going up nor down. If the price averages out at $1,300, it means that it becomes roughly $1,300. So this one is very similar to level off. You could say the price leveled off at $1,300. The price of gold leveled off at $1,300. Or you could say the price of gold over the last 3 months averaged out at $1,300. That would be very clear then that you're talking about the average of the last 3 months. Okay, if you profit from your gold investment, if you cash in on the price of gold, or if you capitalize on the rising price of gold, it means that you buy some gold and then you sell it when it's worth much more money. So it's a very good thing to do. You might profit from something else. You might profit from Bitcoin. It's another very popular investment at the moment. So if you buy a load of Bitcoins and wait long enough, you might be able to cash in on the rising price. Okay, if you persuade someone to do something, you talk them into doing something. And if you do it successfully, you can say, I won him over. So win someone over, it means persuade, but it's not quite the same as talk someone into doing something, because it's used differently. You talk them into coming to your party. But you just win someone over is just without that coming to my party. It's just, I won him over. I managed to persuade him to come to my party. I won him over. I brought him round. So win someone over and bring someone round are identical. They're complete synonyms. Now, if you get through or go through, I forgot to put go up here. If you go through a messy divorce, go through means that you've suffered in some kind of way, that you've experienced a difficult situation. And everybody knows that divorces are not nice situations, and so you would go through a divorce. And if you get through a divorce, you manage to reach the other side where you're completely divorced, you've got everything down on a contract, you've got everything written down in a contract concerning all of the ifs and buts and the way you split the house and everything else. You've got through the divorce, you have gone through it, you have finished it. And if you win through something, then that means you've won something in spite of difficulty. So win through, it's often used when you often talk about one of your feelings winning through or winning out over another emotion. You could say that my anger won out over my compassion or something like that. But yeah, win through means to win in spite of difficulty. To come through means to manage to successfully finish something in spite of difficulty. And to pull through means to recover from an illness, really, this one. It's recover from an illness, it's get better. So pull through is still, in spite of difficulty, he managed to recover. He pulled through. We didn't think he was going to pull through, but in the end he pulled through. He came through the sickness. Yeah. So all of these mean something similar. And see something through. To see something through to the end means to finish something which is really difficult. So to see something through means not to give up. You didn't give up and say, oh, I can't be bothered with this, it's too hard. You saw it through until you were an expert or a highly skilled person at this particular topic. Now, if you lose out to someone else, this just means you lose against an opponent. It means you have some kind of competition and you lose out to an opponent. So it's a little bit like lose against an opponent. It's pretty similar. There's not much difference between lose out. When you say Manchester United lost out to Chelsea, it means they lost against Chelsea. But it sounds like it's in a tournament or the end of the league competition, something like that. Now, if your plans fall through, they're not successful. Now this is a little bit confusing because all of these ones kind of mean when you pull through, you're successful, you recover.